The Houston Rockets are in a very tough spot right now. After the James Harden trade, it seemed like the franchise was heading towards a rebuild, and now more than ever, you can tell they'll be rebuilding. Christian Wood has looked like a young star. He's second in the most improved player race in my eyes behind Jeremy Grant, but he's been injured the past 15 games. In those past 15 games, the Rockets are 0-15, so a rebuild's coming fast. The worst part about all of this is that they might not even have their first round pick. That goes to OKC if it's outside the top 6 due to the Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul trade. If they want to tank, they're going to have to trade some of the vets they already have on their team. They have multiple vets on their squad that would be great for some contenders. What's up, guys? My name's John. Today I'll be talking about potential moves Houston can make, which contenders would be interested in, and what their future is. So let's get right into this. So talking about some vets that Houston can possibly move on from, we'll talk about PJ Tucker, Ben McLemore, Daniel House, and even Victor Oladipo. So PJ Tucker's been the most recent in the news as he's not going to be playing for the Houston Rockets anymore. He's going to be sitting out until a contender trades for him. The thing with PJ Tucker is that I think any contender would love to have him. PJ Tucker is a great glue guy. He plays defense and guards every position on the court, even though he's 6'5", and he can shoot the corner three. The biggest downside of his is that he's a free agent by the end of the year, and that he's going to be turning 36 soon. So, what teams could trade for PJ Tucker? Well, the first team I think of is Miami Heat. You'll hear their name a lot in this video as a multiple assets they can trade. I can see the Milwaukee Bucks trading for him. Even though Utah Jazz are first in the West, I could see him trying to get a little bit more depth. The Boston Celtics had that trade exception, and they would love to add another glue guy next to Marcus Smart. And I don't know how, but the Nets could possibly trade for him. They can add some more depth. Now, I don't think any teams will be giving up a first-round pick for a 36-year-old PJ Tucker who's a free agent by the end of the year, but I think that some teams could throw in a young player and possibly a couple second-round picks. Now, Ben McLemore and Daniel House Jr. are in very similar situations. Both these guys can be instant offense off the bench as they're both pretty good scorers, and they're both making less than $5 million, which I think contenders would love. Now, Ben McLemore has kind of reinvented himself on the Houston Rockets. Before the Rockets, he was seen as a draft bust. He was drafted by pick 8 by the Kings. He was insane at Kansas and was a huge letdown in the NBA. After the Kings, he went to Memphis and he went to the G League, and now he's back with the Rockets. Last year with the Rockets, he played pretty well, averaging about 10 points and shot like 60% from the field. This season, he's not playing as well, but last year he proved he could be a good option off the bench for some contenders. Daniel House is also a potential target for some contenders. Last year with the Houston Rockets, their small ball lineup, House showed off his versatility. He played the small ball 4. He was only 6'6". This season, he's played a little bit more shooting guard, small forward. I think teams value that a lot in today's NBA, especially since he can shoot the ball. Oladipo is probably the most interesting out of all of these guys. Oladipo's a former All-Star. He's been the number 1 option on the team before, and he's a free agent by the end of the summer. Oladipo has been tied to the Miami Heat so many times. But what Miami wants to do with Oladipo is in their power. They can either wait for the summer where they have cap space to sign Oladipo, or they can give up young assets for Oladipo. Obviously, Houston should try to trade Oladipo. In a potential deal with Miami, Houston can receive Kendrick Nunn in the first-round pick, while Miami gets Oladipo. Miami might have to throw in Andre Iguodala or Kelly Olynyk to make the cap situation work, but either way, I do not think Victor Oladipo will be on the Houston Rockets after the trade deadline. Now, let's talk about Houston's young talent. The first guy that comes to mind is Christian Wood. Christian Wood is having an all-star type season before they got injured. Obviously, he has a huge impact on the team as they're 0-15 without him. Another young guy Houston has is Kevin Porter Jr. Yes, Kevin Porter Jr. is a mental case. That's why he got traded to the Rockets for a second-round pick. But Kevin Porter Jr. is not worth a second-round pick. In his first game with the Houston Rockets, Kevin Porter Jr. had 13 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds. In his next game, Kevin Porter Jr. had 27 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds. Kevin Porter Jr. is obviously here to bring some nice playmaking and some nice scoring to Houston. I can't wait to see how he develops in the future. Besides for Kevin Porter Jr. and Christian Wood, Houston doesn't really have any other special young talent. Kenyon Martin Jr. tore the G League bubble and he just got called up to the NBA, so we'll see what he does. And Jae'Sean Tate, aka the guy that James Harden threw the ball at practice, has been a surprising undrafted rookie, so hopefully he keeps on developing. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the subscribe button. I'll catch you guys later.